All right, let's imagine I had to start from absolute scratch today, and the goal is to become a millionaire by 2026. This is the exact blueprint I would use. I'm going to break down every single level for you, from the mindset you need to have to the nitty-gritty of building a cash-generating machine and all the way to scaling a real empire.
Right off the bat, you've got to understand there are basically two ways to get to $1,000,000. You can earn it, or you can own it. Now, the earning path, that's the slow grind. Making a great salary, saving every penny after taxes, you're looking at a decade. Easy. The path we're on is the ownership path. This is where you build an asset, a business that kicks off, say, $250,000 a year in profit. You sell that asset for a multiple, and boom, there's your $1,000,000 net worth. The best part? The timeline is up to you.
So that really begs the question, right? If owning is the faster path, what's the actual step-by-step blueprint? How do you actually do it? Okay, let's get into it.
We're starting at level 1, and listen, before we talk about a single tactic or business model, we have to start right here. It's all about winning the mindset game. This is the foundation for everything, and if you get this wrong, trust me, nothing else is going to work. The very first thing we need to do is just completely shatter one of the biggest myths out there. You've heard it a million times. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. But here's the truth. That advice is for people who are already rich and trying to keep their money. For somebody trying to build wealth, it is terrible, catastrophic advice. It's keeping you broke.
So the myth tells you to diversify, right? To spread yourself thin across 7 different things. But what happens? You're trying to fill 7 cups at once, and none of them ever get full, let alone overflow. The reality of building wealth is radical focus. You pick one cup, you pour every ounce of your energy into that one cup until it is overflowing with cash. And then, only then, do you use that overflow to start filling other cups. Focus builds wealth, diversity just protects it.
And that leads to this huge realization. People who are chasing 7 things at once, they think they're trying to figure out which opportunity is the one that's going to pop. But that's the wrong question entirely. The truth is, pretty much any of these business models can work. The real variable isn't the opportunity, it's you. It's not about which one will work, it's about which one you will work on until it does.
You know, every single entrepreneurial journey, I don't care who you are, follows these 5 stages. You start with that uninformed optimism, right? The honeymoon phase, where everything is exciting. Then, reality smacks you in the face, and you hit informed pessimism. And from there, you slide down into the valley of despair. This is where it feels hopeless, and it's the exact point where almost everybody quits.
So what happens when they quit in that valley of despair? They start looking around for the next shiny object, some new opportunity. They tell themselves, oh, the grass is greener over there, that other business is the easy one. But what they don't get is that every field needs watering. They just jump to a new patch of dirt and start the exact same painful cycle all over again. The secret is knowing the grass isn't greener on the other side, it's green where you decide to water it.
Okay, so with our mindset totally recalibrated, we are ready for level 2. This is where we get tactical and actually build the machine that's going to generate the cash.
Now this might be the single most important idea in all of business. Seriously, imagine you've got a hot dog stand. You could have the most delicious gourmet hot dog in the world served instantly for $1. But if you set up that stand in a town full of vegans, you're going out of business. Your first job before anything else is to find a starving crowd. Because a starving crowd will happily buy even a mediocre hot dog.
So how do you find that hungry market? I look for these 4 things, and they are non-negotiable. 1, they have to be in real pain. They need a solution like yesterday. 2, they need to have purchasing power. No money, no market. 3, they have to be easy to target. You need to know where they hang out. And 4, the market itself has to be growing. You need all 4.
Okay, once you've found your market, the formula to get to your first million is just brutally simple. I call it the 1 by 1 by 1 rule. That's one target customer, your avatar, one core product that solves their biggest pain point, and one main channel to reach them. That's it. Most people fail because they try to be everything to everyone. Stick to 1-1-1.
So you've got your market, you've got your one product. How do you make that product something people can't say no to? You do it by mastering this, the value equation. See, value isn't some fuzzy concept, it's an actual formula. It's what the customer gets divided by what it costs them. And notice, money isn't even in the equation.
So let's break this down. The top half of the equation is what you want to make bigger, what you want to increase. First, you have the dream outcome, what's the absolute best case scenario for your customer? And second, you have their perceived likelihood of achievement. How certain are they that you can actually deliver that dream? Your job is to crank both of these dials up as high as they can go.
Now for the bottom half. This is what you want to shrink, to crush down to as close to zero as possible. First is time delay. How long until they get their result? The faster, the better. And second is effort and sacrifice. What hard stuff do they have to do? The less you ask of them, the more valuable your offer is. The perfect offer is a spectacular outcome with 100% certainty that happens instantly with zero effort. The closer you get to that, the more you can charge.
When you get this right, it creates this incredible growth loop. So you start by crafting that irresistible offer. Then you promote it and make some sales. Great. But here's the step almost everyone misses. You take that initial profit and all the customer feedback, and you go back and make the product even better. And then you promote the new, better version, which sells even more easily. It's a virtuous cycle that just keeps getting stronger. So as the money starts coming in, how should you pay yourself? Here's a dead simple, really healthy rule of thumb. The 1/3 split. Just take your profit and divide it into 3 buckets. 1/3 goes to you, personally, 1/3 gets reinvested back into the business for growth, and 1/3 goes into a cash reserve, a war chest for a rainy day.
So how do you guarantee you actually do the work? This is a game changer. You stop obsessing about the outcome, making a sale, because that's not totally in your control. Instead, you get obsessed with the input, the activity, which you can control. I call it the rule of 100. Commit to doing 100 units of your main business-driving activity every single day, no excuses. Make the activity the goal, and the outcomes will follow.
All right, the machine is built, it's humming along, it's profitable, it's growing. Now it's time for level 3. This is where we go beyond just making a good living and start building a true asset, an empire that can scale way beyond just you. At this point, you're at a fork in the road. You can be a genius with 1,000 hands. You're brilliant, you do everything, and you make a ton of money. But what you have is a high-paying job, not a business asset. If you stop, the money stops. The other path is to build an enterprise, where the systems and the team are the genius. This gives you a high income plus a valuable company that runs without you. That is how you create true, lasting wealth.
To build that enterprise, your whole idea of marketing has to expand. Most founders only ever think about marketing to find new customers. But to really scale, you have to market in 4 directions at once. To prospects, to get customers. To your existing customers, to keep them happy and buying more. To high-quality candidates, to attract A-plus talent. And to your current employees, to keep them engaged and motivated. If you only do the first one, you'll always be the bottleneck.
As you get bigger, your reputation becomes your single most valuable asset. The best way to think about it is like a bouquet of flowers. Every good decision you make, every time you delight a customer, you add another beautiful flower. Over years, you can build this incredible arrangement. But it only takes one big mistake, one weed, to spoil the whole thing. You have to protect it fiercely. And this all leads to the real magic, compounding. It's not just for money, it applies to your reputation, your skills, your customer base, everything. Now, I'll be honest, at first, it's painfully slow, it's boring. But if you can stick with it for 5, 10, 20 years, that curve bends upwards and creates unbelievable exponential growth. The single most expensive mistake you can make is interrupting this process to chase something new. Boring is what makes you rich.
You know, a legendary investor said it best. The money isn't made in the buying or the selling, it's made in the waiting. The absolute hardest part is just having the patience to sit still and let the plan work its magic. If you found that point valuable, do me a quick favor and share this with someone who really needs to hear it.
This brings us to the final level of this whole blueprint. And this one, well, it has nothing to do with money or net worth. It's a complete shift in how you see everything. It's about how you choose to play the game of life and business long after you've already won financially.
So many people think the whole point of becoming a millionaire is so you can retire and do nothing. But that's a myth. Humans need purpose to thrive. The real goal of wealth isn't freedom from work, it's the freedom of work. It's the freedom to choose your challenges, to solve problems you find meaningful, simply because you want to, not because you need the paycheck.
To really get this, you have to understand there are 2 types of games in life. There are finite games, like a football game. You know the players, there are fixed rules, and there's an end point where someone wins. But business and life itself aren't finite games. They're infinite games. The players come and go, the rules can change, and there's no finish line. The goal isn't to win business. The goal is simply to keep playing the game you love.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What game are you designing for yourself that is so compelling, so meaningful that you would want to play it for the rest of your life? That's the ultimate blueprint. If this explainer resonated with you and got you thinking, hit that like button to let me know.